Hello everyone, and welcome back to Daily Military Channel, C-5 Landing Gear. Here is a view of a C-5 you normally don't get to see unless you are a few thousand feet in the air and fast. C-17 Landing Gear Maintenance. Members of 167th Airlift Wing's Home Station Check Shop at Martinsburg, West Virginia, hydraulically jack a C-17 Globemaster aircraft to facilitate inspection and lubrication for its landing gear components. Normally when a C-5M Galaxy is off the ground, it is soaring thousands of feet above the world. For one particular C-5 flying out of Travis Air Force Base, California, that was not the case when a malfunctioning landing gear caused it to be raised only a few feet above the ground inside a hangar. We were coming down to land, the pilots threw the gear down and the number 4 main landing gear did not extend, so they had to emergency extend it, said Staff Sergeant Cesar Martiracian, 60th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron Flying Crew Chief. We were able to land safely and we had to jack the aircraft. Martiracian worked alongside airmen assigned to the 721st AMXS to jack, inspect, and repair the aircraft's landing gear. When it came down, we towed it onto its spot to make sure everything was still good, said Staff Sergeant Brian Cray, 721st AMXS Airlift Specialist Mission Maintenance Craftsman. We got it outside the hangar, did our inspection on it to make sure everything was good, and prepared everything to tow it into the hangar and jack it up. The C-5 required 6 fuselage jacks to hold it, 2 in the nose, 2 in the middle, and 2 in the aft. Each jack is capable of holding 60 tons, overall providing support for 720,000 pounds. A typical C-5 weighs 415,000 pounds, but 6 jacks were used for stability. Upon inspection, the 721st AMXS and 60th AMXS airmen determined the landing gear needed a new handle. They installed it and proceeded to perform a function check on every gear. For a C-5, the nose landing gear is allowed 20 seconds each to extend and retract, while the remaining 4 gears are allowed 22 seconds to extend and 17 to contract. Primarily we were concerned about the number 4 gear, but because it's a new handle we are required to do a gear swing in every single gear, Cray said. Because it's a C-5, we're only supposed to do 1 gear at a time for safety purposes. We swung the gears and everything checked out. They met all the time limits. The next step was to check the caster function, which allows gears to turn left or right, for the nose and aft gears. They turned the nose gear to extreme left and right, and the 2 back gears were turned left, center, and right simultaneously and individually to ensure they could reach the required 20 degrees. They came to center. They castered. Everything was good, and they worked in unison. Nothing was stuttering, Cray said. Up to this point, we have no reason to believe the aircraft is not serviceable anymore. It has been over a year since the 721st AMXS has had a C-5 raised on a full fuselage jack. It's always amazing to see the things we do, Cray said. We lifted this huge aircraft off the ground. And now we're going to swing the gears and everything is going to shake, and it's going to stay up. It was a great experience, he continued. This was my 2nd gear swing on my own, so I was a little nervous, but I was also confident and I had good training. I have very good mentors. We ran through a lot of stuff with a lot of good people, so I was comfortable with the task we were doing. Through the combined experience of the pilots, flying crew chief, and maintainers from Travis and Ramstein, they were able to make a safe landing in tow, jack, inspect, and repair a C-5's malfunctioned landing gear together. Abstract, with airplanes becoming progressively heavier, and runways already being damaged by present-day aircraft, it is apparent that more thought must be given to flotation. There is a great need for high flotation landing gears on both military and commercial aircraft. High flotation was a basic parameter in the C-5A landing gear design when it was first conceived, and a computerized study of 2,600 landing variants revealed the present design to be optimum for an airplane, with the weight and mission concept of the C-5A. Reviewed in this paper are its history, design, and capabilities. Publisher information. SAE International is a global association of more than 128,000 engineers and related technical experts in the aerospace, automotive and commercial vehicle industries. SAE International's core competencies are lifelong learning and voluntary consensus standards development. SAE International's charitable arm is the SAE Foundation, which supports many programs, including A World in Motion and the Collegiate Design Series. C-17 recovered in joint effort. In February there was an incident where a C-17 Globemaster III landed and overran the runway due to inclement weather, in which the landing gear and other critical parts were damaged. Through months of planning and teamwork by the joint forces located on Forward Operating Base Shank, this 282,500-pound aircraft was moved with no incidents from its location after the crash to a site where the service members and Boeing employees could get the aircraft back to operational readiness. As soon as the aircraft overran the runway, we were looking at planning and how to recover the aircraft, said Air Force Major Mel Ibarita, the officer in charge of the 777th Expeditionary Prime Beef Squadron on FOB Shank. We contacted the aircraft maintainers at Boeing and got an understanding of what they needed. Once we finalized our planning, the heavy equipment operators, Tech Sergeant Albert Fanini, Tech Sergeant Robert Livingston, and Staff Sergeant Johnny Resendez were able to execute the construction of the engineered Wadi Bridge ahead of schedule. We were tasked with building the bridge. The aircraft was going to be moved over to stage for repair, said Air Force Tech Sergeant Ursula Rothweiler, an engineer assistant assigned to the 777th EPBS. Also included was completing dynamic cone penetration testing to assure that the bridge would hold the weight of the aircraft without sinking or giving way. With the necessary equipment and personnel named, and the tasks being given, all that was left was the execution of the plan, moving the aircraft from the crash site to the repair site, a little more than a mile away.